Hi, and welcome back to another episode of the History of Fan Anime. I'm your host, William Chow, and in today's episode, I'm going to go and cover some of the titles that we played at our Vancouver Japanese Animation Society's, Sunday um, anime showings, okay, or anime showcases, as we called it, okay. Um, Now, before I begin, of course, I have to remind you to go down below, click like, and click subscribe, and don't forget to click that icon bell to get notifications, because obviously, YouTube doesn't recommend my videos. So, in order to see and know when my new videos come out, don't forget to click that bell. All right. In today's episode, I want to cover some more about the public viewings or showings of anime. Okay, so as described earlier, really the only way to actually see anime or get anime is you actually had to have a physical form or physical view of the actual anime, usually on a video cassette or in this case you might have to buy the laser disc or something like that in order to see it. But of course, a lot of the animes that we're getting in the even in the late 90s and that kind of stuff was still several years behind what was really actually being showed in Japan, right? So in order to to bridge this gap and kind of to show some of the newer stuff that people haven't seen, or to try to get more people into Japanese animation, we had these sort of public showings of anime in a public place. Okay, so the Japanese Animation Club here in Vancouver used Chocolate Community Center at one time, and then we moved it to a larger venue, which is Douglas College. We used one of the Electro Hall theaters in Douglas College. I covered this in a previous episode. You might want to go back and have a look at that and see what the layout was kind of like and what kind of the environment and the pictures were sort of like for that sort of setting. Do check that out. Okay, so what we'd do is we'd post various different flyers. Okay, so something like this would be showing. Okay, so this is an example of a something that we put onto a bulletin board, or sometimes we take this to a comic book store or something, and we'd post it up. We'd maybe take this down to Sophia's bookstore, Pure Hobbies, or something like that, and we'd have these posted up. So that would let people know that, hey, on this particular date, Saturday, April 17th, at Douglas College, room 1606. Okay. You could go here, and we're going to have a viewer's choice meeting. Okay, so basically we had 3 time slots, and in the first time slot we were going to let's see, at 12 o'clock, we'd pass out ballots, and then people could pick what anime they could watch, right? Now this one was let's see, Vision of Escaflowne episode 2 and 3, or sorry, 3 and 4, Gundam Wing episodes 7 and 8, Nadeshko, Martian successor Nadeshko TV episodes 5 and 6, or Saber Marionette J episodes 3 and 4. So you know lots of Pioneer and there's Pioneer, there's AD Vision, okay, get them titles, right? So really popular at that time. Viewer's choice number 2, which is the 1 o'clock slot. Then we had Revolutionary Girl Utena episodes 3 and 4, Magical Girl Pretty Sammy, which is the offshoot of the Tenchi Muyo series, 3 and 4, Dirty Pair Flash, the OVA series, for episodes 2 and 3, and Cat Girl Nuku Nuku, episodes 3 and 4. So that was the third slot, and then of course the third slot here at 2 o'clock. They have we usually put the full feature length movie at that time, usually at the last feature. So in this time we're doing the Tenchi's Time and Space Adventure movie, the Ronin Kenshin movie, City Hunter: The Secret Service, and Bubblegum Crisis 7-8, sort of combined sort of movies thing there. Okay, so that's what we basically had available there. Okay, and so that was that's how we did movies. Sometimes we also have all these smaller inserts. Okay, so these are little about quarter sheets. Okay, and we'd leave a small little stack of these so that in different various places, and then that way customers can then either throw them into bags when they purchase something, or leave them on the counter, and then basically if a customer likes to grab one, they can just grab off it, and they have it physically in their hand, and they can set their reminders or whatever to actually go and check out these meetings. Okay, here's another example of one that we did. Just things like that shows different titles and that kind of things there. So this particular one is just a black and white copy there. Anime Showcase, August 19th, 2000. Okay. We're doing Double Zeta Gundam episodes 13 and 14, Ronin Kenshin episodes 8 and through 11, and Red Riding Hood Cha Cha, Azukun Cha Cha, episodes 1 and 2 for that on that one there. So, yeah. But anyway, the other thing that we did that we did, of course, is that we did many different sort of things, and we tried to do this once every sort of month. We could regulate a day that we could kind of do it, and the other thing I managed to find was a log sheet. So I've got here a list of various different titles that we did, and we showed during all the various different meetings. And I figured I'll kind of go over some of them with you, just to sort of you get an idea. Because obviously, we're obviously picking good titles that we think that would really be general enough that people could watch it and say, oh, okay, yeah, I get it. I don't need to know too much about the show to kind of get involved in it, but enough that I could watch it and say, oh, yeah, okay, I sort of know what's going on, or we'll get interested in it. We also do shows that sort of to continue on. So some of the people who watched the first couple and the first one, from a previous meeting might be able to to catch up on things like that. And of course, anything that's really big and blockbuster feature that's really really new that we just finished fan subbing and that kind of stuff, we'd put out. Okay, so let's go through the list a little bit and just sort of give you an idea, right? And keep in mind, okay, the date that we put these out, and sometimes you got to look at when some of the things get actually released. Okay, so you'll notice that sometimes the time that we actually get the fan sub out is like years. Okay, like literally some of the ones examples in some of my episodes I've shown you, you know 4, 5, 6 years that we've got they released it in Japan, we fan subbed it, we're now distributing it and that kind of stuff, and showing basically letting all the fans out there have access to it, and then finally 5 or 6 years later they finally get an English release version of it, which is also good too, because as I said, usually when you're doing copies of tape to tape to tape, the degradation of the copies of these tapes are going right downhill, right? So to get some better copy or better quality copy of these animes is really really welcomed at that time. Even still, if it's still only a VHS copy, it's still when it's commercially done like that, it's just so much better. Anyway, so I just want to quickly go through this list to just sort of just give you an idea what we did play, and so that maybe if you hear these titles and you sort of maybe get interested in them, you might want to just kind of look them up, because as I said, these are sort of the better picks. Okay, so I mean, these are what we chose to show at the meetings. Maybe it's something that you might want to check out. And again, when I get to this point in in time, you'll probably get to see them. But this is a little bit further. So anyway, so I'm going to start here. September 1986. Okay, so sorry, September 1996. Sorry, can't mix up the dates here. 1996 September. Okay, and that meeting contained Macross. It's a viewer's choice meeting. Okay, a little bit. Okay, your choices were Macross Plus, Veil Girl Eye, the Jackie Chan City Hunter movie, Fatal Fury movie, and Macross Plus, the kind of compiled together movie. And okay, so Macross Plus. All right. Basically, what we did is we took because the movie wasn't out at that time, but all 4 parts of Macross Plus were out. We just basically took the fan subs for those ones, and we kind of combined them together by removing all the opening and ending theme pieces from each in between all the episodes, and made it into one big long movie. So basically, one opening, one ending, and just kind of put all the episodes together, right? And made it a Macross Plus, the movie edition. Okay. Video Grai is a nice, good, OVA series that we kind of put together and made into a movie version as well. Jackie Chan, the City Hunter movie. So one of the movies that sort of was really popular that came out was the Jackie Chan's rendition of the City Hunter TV series, anime series, and it was funny. It was really well, and I would say one of the best live action adaptations. But some of the Nicky Larson stuff is actually probably closer to what the anime was. But in the Jackie Chan style, it was actually pretty good. And this was a fun one because this is one of the ones that we didn't actually have to translate from Japanese. We actually have to translate it from Chinese. And although my strength wasn't exactly this, even though it is my type of Chinese, it's Cantonese. But we actually had to go through it. And I know that you can go out there on the internet and you can look up, Jackie Chan City Hunter, and you can even buy the DVD for Jackie Chan City Hunter. But one of the things that wasn't done in a lot of them, and I still see it in a couple of them that they don't do it. In the middle of the movie, there is a dance sequence done by those two guys in the casino called Soft Hard, and they do a Chinese rendition of that song "Gala Gala Happy," based off of the Japanese song of the same name, "Gala Gala Happy." They didn't do the translation for that, so I remember we spent hours going through playing, line by line, trying to figure out what it was. Because I mean, there's this line that's, it's about cops, right? So it's like, good cop, bad cop, fat cop, gay cop, something like that, and we couldn't figure out, the order, which cop was going on and that kind of stuff. And so it was really kind of different, okay, and I remember there was also a line about the new kids, referring to new kids on the block, right? It was in that line there too. So yeah. So on this particular version, we spent some particular effort to try to make sure that we actually translate that song properly and whatnot. Okay. So that was one thing we did there. Fatal Fury, the movie, of course, that was one of the really hot video game ones that came out at that time, and so that was really cool. November, okay, 96. We did Tenchi Muyo, the seventh OAVA, which is the last one of that one. El Hazard, the first night, okay, so that was the OAVA for El Hazard. First thing of Moldiver, which is, I do believe right here, Moldiver. And the Kishin Corpse, 1, 2, 3. So again, this is a whole meeting of Pioneer titles. And again, I mentioned in the previous episodes that at this time, especially in 96, Pioneer Genom was on such a hot streak. They had so many good titles out that, I would say, not really, unquestionably, but like a lot of people enjoyed it, irregardless of genre or that kind of stuff. I mean, you can say, Ascaflone or Fushigi Yugi and that kind of stuff are isekais, and and only the certain isekai crowd would really like that. But no, in general, a lot of people really liked those shows. Tenchi Muyo, the Magical Princess Sammy, and that kind of stuff were very popular because it really, really was relatable and it was very, very popular. So again, Pioneer was really at the top of their game at that time. December, okay. Now, generally speaking, December we usually have like a Christmas themed kind of thing. We usually do fundraising for the food bank and that kind of stuff. So instead of paying admission fee or to help, to do the rooms, right? We usually had to charge an admission fee in order to pay for the rental of the Douglas College's room there. But instead, usually for December, we would make it so that you instead of paying for the room fee, you could bring in an item of food, and that would be your admission into the video showing. Also, for every piece of food that you brought in, you got a ticket for a raffle. And then basically throughout the meeting, we would raffle off different sort of anime items and that kind of stuff based on how much the stuff that we had. Okay, and so it was a fun sort of festive sort of environment that was really good for that. So basically, the episodes that we decided to pick were the Orange Road Xmas episodes. So there's a bunch of Christmas episodes in Orange Road, which were specifically Christmas ones. And the one I remember, of course, is the Merry Christmas Hujun Furan, which is the Kyosuke. There's see if I remember the episode here. The episode is about a Christmas party, and Kyosuke is left with the choice of whether or not, which date he will bring to the to the dance party per se, right? And so obviously his first choice is to take Ayukawa to the thing, and so he does that, and then of course a result happens that he's not happy with, so he decides, okay, well, what happens if I go and take Hikaru to to the dance thing, right? And then he does that, and then some other thing happens, and he's not happy with that result. So he goes, time slips again, and he decides he's gonna take both of them at the same time. What a two timer, right? So anyway, so that's sort of the thing of that, and then something bad happens, and then well, he's stuck doing it all over again. So well, I'll let you watch that episode. What else are we doing? We're doing Hyper Dolls. We're doing 10 Little Golf Force, which is the Super Deformed Golf Force. Gundam F91, General Cyber, the OVA, Golden Boy episodes 1 and 2, and Sanctuary. Okay, so this is the guy who does Crying Freeman. So again, some these things like, for example, Sanctuary, which has a lot more adult content, and we tend to put that later in the evening. Usually it's after the dinner break and that kind of stuff. We usually we'll do those type of meetings, right? Okay, so in the new year of January 1997, we're showing Evangelion, Neon Genesis Evangelion, episodes 1 and 2. Space Family Carl Vincent. Now, this is a really whacked lacked OVA series, but it was fun because Dicey really liked it because he really liked the dad, okay, the robot dad in this show, and it's pretty funny, okay, but it's kind of neat. But yeah, if you're looking for like a really strange, kind of a orphan child anime, kind of really cute sort of thing, but in a strange way, yeah, check it out. Space Family Carl Vincent. Red Red Cha-Cha episodes 2 and Sailor Moon R the movie, which was really really popular, that's for sure, at this time, 1997. Let's see, February of 97, we did Bubblegum Crisis volumes 1 through 3, debut. Okay, so Tenjo debut, the same guy who did Graduation and that kind of stuff, now makes a OVA called Debut, which is basically based off the game, where you're the manager and you've got 3 idol singers, and then you're supposed to control and manage what your idol singer is going to do, and then you basically getting up with some certain results, good and bad, of course. And the last movie that we had was Tenchi in Love, which is the Tenchi Muyo movie. Let's see, March of 97, we have Weathering Continent, Compiler Fiesta, and Nausicaa Valley of the Wind. So again, mixture of Super Ghibli stuff. Compiler, of course, Kiyomiya, very very popular thing. OVA and art style at that time. So he's one of his things. Anyway, so that's sort of one page of this sort of thing, and I don't want to go. I mean, I suppose can go through all this other stuff as this goes multiple pages upon pages of stuff. But I just wanted to give you sort of an idea of what we were showing at the time that we're showing it, and give you a reflection of that. Now again, I'm going to go over all those titles and that kind of stuff, in the years that they came out, and I'm sure that most of those things came out in 90, probably like 94, 95, 96. And then when I get to those ones, then I'll go into those in better detail for you, so that you can go follow. But just sort of gives you an indication. If we thought that they were good enough to show to the public, okay, to a public that may not necessarily be like the highest of anime fans, and we thought that this stuff would be general enough that sort of, shall we say, a noob, if you will, could grasp onto and hopefully get interested in anime, then this is what they might watch, right? So, I hope you found this as kind of an interesting sort of reflection of what was played back in the day, and how we used to have to basically spread the word of anime, as it were. Okay, and the guys are a lot luckier now with with the way the internet is and the way and how available anime is. It's it's a totally different sort of environment. And I guess being sitting behind a computer and a kind of screen there in your own home is very convenient and comfortable. But there is something to be said about sitting in a large movie theater with other anime fans and other people that and seeing what their reaction is and how they talk and during the breaks and that kind of stuff about the animes and actually meeting other people and talking about other things. Maybe even pulling out the a Nintendo DS or something and doing some a little bit of gaming or that kind of stuff in the crowd during the breaks is also another one of the things that you know is probably missing from today's modern sort of anime experience, I guess. Okay, so I will be making more episodes about that. I got the next year of the My Anime list coming up, so it's going to be a big one because I said even in the last that one I just did, the number of OEVAs just jumped. It said, I put the information into a grid, and you can just see that literally the number of episodes for like 97 for 87 there like literally was like more than we had like ever. It's like just suddenly like we were having like 50 plus OVAs in just 1 year rather than over the course of the colors. And so you can just see that the number of titles, especially in short titles and stuff, are just incrementally just booming. And it's just not that, it's just also just like a lot of unknown stuff and just a lot of indie stuff that just kind of goes by the wayside. We're actually getting a lot of them, and we're actually knowing what a lot of them are, and a lot of things are being picked out this time. Because again, I think at this time, a lot of eyes started shifting and moving and looking at Japan and Japanese animation, and actually seeing that hey, this is something we should be looking. It might be viable to bring into North America. Let's start jumping on the web bandwagon, as it were. And I think that's where it's kind of really started. All right, so we got a lot more episodes of that coming up. So stay tuned for that. Right? Okay, so until next time, see you.